Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. I am back from my trip and very happy to be with you again. I've missed you all. I was truly off the grid for 15 days and then I dealt with jet lag for almost a week, and now I feel I'm relatively back to normal. I know a lot has happened while I was away, and I will do my best to catch up with all of your videos and comments, so thank you for your patience. Before I get too far into this video, I wanted to say that I was greatly saddened to hear about PAX, and I thought that I would share what I think is a really neat connection. I was in Italy for 15 days, and 2 of those days I spent in Assisi, which is one of my all-time favorite places in the entire world. There is a real sense of peace in Assisi, and I don't know, the sun just shines differently there. The last time I visited was in 2010, so I was very happy to be back there. And Assisi is most well known because of St. Francis of Assisi, who is probably the most popular saint, known for his love of animals and nature. So why am I telling you this? When you visit the Basilica of St. Francis of Assisi, which is where he is buried, when you come out of the Basilica, on the lawn is the word Pax, and it means peace in Latin, and you see the word all over Assisi. And the letters are formed from bushes, and they're green. So when I got home from my trip, and when I saw Adam's post about PAX, I immediately thought of seeing the word PAX in Assisi, and I knew that our friend was at peace. She is already greatly missed in the BookTube community, and I know that she still has videos coming out for a while. So I'm really looking forward to watching those and celebrating her that way. I can't even imagine having 25 videos ready to go. I'm lucky if I have 1 or 2 ahead. So it's maybe another way that Pax was a rock star, and perhaps Pax will inspire me to get more videos ready. Since I wasn't posting while I was away, there are a few staple videos that I need to catch up on, and I'm going to start today with my May book haul. I have to say that I went into quite a few bookstores, more than I thought I would, while I was in Italy, but I didn't buy any books, and it helps that I don't read Italian. But there were a few editions of Dante's books that I almost caved in on, but in the end I stayed true to reading what's on my shelf and left my luggage a little lighter. So I have 5 books to tell you about. These books were all books sent to me from publishers, and one is from the Republic of Consciousness Prize. So I'm going to start with a book from bookhugpress, who you know I love, which I think is the longest book, coming in at probably about 260 pages. And all the others are like less than 200 pages, if I'm not mistaken. So this is The Loneliness in Lydia Erneman's Life by Rune Christiansen, and this is translated from the Norwegian by Kari Dickson. This is about Lydia, who grew up as an only child in northern Sweden. She's used to being isolated and fills her days with nature and animals and hard work. And she becomes a vet and is pretty happy with her solitude, but experiences an increasing need for closer human contact. And it seems that this book looks at Lydia's inner world and explores solitude and community. This has won the most prestigious Norwegian literary award, and I like the quiet vibes that I felt when I was, looking into the book and what it's about. So hopefully this will be a really good one. Next up is a poetry collection from the University of Calgary Press, and it's called Muster Points by Canadian writer Lucas Crawford. And this might actually be, I think, a good one to pick up this month as we celebrate Pride Month. The poems in this collection, they were written not far actually from here, from Calgary. They were written at the Banff Centre for the Arts, which is a beautiful spot, and that is where Lucas Crawford found himself when COVID hit. And the poems that he wrote are about breakups, depression, COVID, and queer love. So I might actually pick this up sooner rather than later. The next book I have is Love Notes to Grievers, Tending to Grief After Loss by Angela E. Morris. And this is from Pownell Street Press, which is a newer publisher that publishes nonfiction and children's books, mostly about wellness and healing and emotional journeys. So some of you already know that for some reason I enjoy a really good book that deals with grief, and I think it's because it's such a raw emotion, and I don't think enough people really talk about what they are experiencing when they are grieving. And this book is written in little snippets or notes, and they are reflections on grieving after the author had lost 3 people: her father, her friend, and her grandmother. And the book is written in a way that you don't have to read it cover to cover like a novel, but you can kind of pick it up where you want to start, and then go where you go from there is totally up to you. So this is being published on June 13th, so definitely check it out if the topic interests you. Next is a book of 4 short stories from Radiantpress, Survivors of the Hive by Jason Heroux, maybe, a Canadian author. And this book also has themes of loss and grief. There's a high school poetry contest that may or may not be linked to the end of the world. A grief-baffled son hopes to save an innocent insect from a toxic genocide. A daughter struggles to accept loss while visiting a community that is overwhelmed by denial, and a sorrow-stricken father recalls his bizarre final conversation with his only child. So these stories are supposed to have dark humor, which I love, and I'm hoping that this will be a gem. The last book that I have to share is from the Republic of Consciousness Prize, and it's called With or Without Angels, and it's by Douglas Bruton. It is about an artist who is facing his own death and decides to do one final art piece. And the work helps him realize, what matters most and what he will leave behind when he is gone. So there are photographs throughout the book, and each chapter is called like the first photograph, the second photograph. So I'm interested to see how these photographs are used in the story. So those are the 5 books that I hauled in May. I like that they all seem very different, and they all seem like they will be quick reads. The last book is just over 100 pages. So please let me know if you have read any of these, or if you are interested in any of them. Are there any books that you hauled in May that you are the most excited to read? I'd love to hear all about that. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.